All right, welcome in everyone. This is your weekly reading. So we are already moving into the second week of February, and we are about to also enter into eclipse season. So the first eclipse is going to be on February 17th. So usually with the eclipse energy, it does start to ramp up, prior to the eclipses. And then we have our kind of shadow period where it kind of wanes, but we're still feeling it after the fact. So this weekend, the weekend coming up, we're going to feel it, we're going to start feeling it. Something kind of as guidance. So if you're looking to make any big decisions or settle something or kind of, again, move forward with something, do it before the weekend, just because this energy can kind of start to interfere with that. And the guidance with that eclipse energy is not to make any big, decisions or decisions in general, starting over the weekend. So just wanted to call that out. But I guess the two big things this week astrologically, one of the big ones that we've been talking about that's going to be one of the biggest of the year is Saturn entering Aries. And that's on the 13th. We also have on the 10th, Venus entering Pisces, which Venus is actually exalted in Pisces. And this is going to be over Valentine's Day, which is just perfect because you have that Piscean kind of, again, very like dreamy energy, loving energy, emotional. And then you have that Venus, which is, again, we know about love, relationships, and also finances. So, love is obviously amplified during this time. So utilize it, take advantage of it. And let's see here, what else do we, I just kind of looking through the, my information I have here. So like I said, eclipse season, the new moon, on February 17th is that solar eclipse. So get ready for that the next week. And then so I think that's the Venus. That's what I wanted to talk about as far as Venus and Pisces. But let's kind of dig into a little bit of this Saturn and Aries energy. So this is a powerful shift. And it's going to really we've been feeling like we're on like the edge of this big new chapter. And now finally, like, this energy is coming in. Saturn in Aries is really asking us to take ourselves, our goals, and our direction more seriously. And Saturn is a very action-oriented planet, but it is also the karmic planet. So it's like, what do we need to do, right? Saturn's like, what do we need to do to improve, to progress, to expand, to grow, and take meaningful action on this. But Saturn is very consistent. It's it's responsible. It has that common sense to it. So it's like, okay, let's think about this, right? It's definitely not making rash decisions. It's really thinking what's the best for us long term. So it's really going to ask us to it's going to call us to expand and grow. So any areas of our life where we've been stagnant, where we've been blocked, where we've been consciously making choices, again, that limits our growth, that's limiting our potential, Saturn is really going to be like, hey, like, what's going on here, and shine a light on that. But you have Aries as well. So Aries is also about action. So you got that double energy there. Saturn's going to help kind of ground the Aries energy, like because Aries is that fiery energy. It's a fire sign. Aries can be a little bit impulsive, like, let's just get going, where Saturn's like, whoa, 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 hold your horses. Let's think about this first, right? Let's think of the best next step, and make sure, we're going to go forward in the right way. And, it's about building things that are meaningful, that are really, again, aligned with our highest self, our authenticity, and really going to help us grow and expand. This also adds a bit of courage to this. So it's like asking us to maybe, of course, step out of our comfort zone, step out of what we know, and have the courage and confidence to make decisions that maybe are scary, to go into territories or things that are maybe we've been afraid to do because of the unknown aspect to that. But, this is a really ambitious energy. This has bold energy. So it's going to be an interesting one, to say the least, to see how this pans out. So yeah, that's kind of the hit of astrology. Just, we're preparing for, right, probably the biggest astrological event is going to be on February 20th, which is the Neptune-Saturn conjunction at 0 degrees Aries. So, I already feel the energies like prepping us. That is the cosmic restart. We're starting to see things around us mirroring that, because we need to completely change everything. That's the cosmic restart. It's almost like shifting from one reality to a new reality. So anything that's aligned to the old structures, organizations, the old ways of doing things, the old ways of thinking, the old ways of societal structure, of how we, relationship dynamics, this concept of marriage, this concept of who we are, it's all going to shift this year. And this is really that, ignition point on February 20th. So it's very exciting energy. With that, right, the only way to change things is we have to remove the old. We have to break down the old. We have to blow up the old sometimes. And that's that tower energy. And if you've seen in the external world lately, there's obviously a lot of towers going on. Just as a gentle reminder, don't let yourself get pulled too deep in the density, because this stuff is pretty, it is, I shouldn't say even pretty. This is like the densest of the dense that's coming up right now. And there's a reason we have to bring it out right to the light. The darkness has to come up for us to integrate, for the light to integrate it. We have to trust, but we also have to be, it's not about like getting aggressive or getting too, because this level of density can kind of mess with your mind and your soul. So we have to protect ourselves. At the same time, we also can't just pretend it's not going on. That's not how we also can approach it either. It's about standing in our truth, standing in our light, protecting ourselves, but standing up for the light of truth and shift and standing up for wanting to shift the reality, and kind of get rid of all this darkness in all the levels of this physical 3D world. Okay, let's start here. So I'm going to pull a couple oracle cards. For the week. So we have bring love into the situation. And then we have the door to personal healing and happiness. So this definitely is bringing in that love energy of Pisces moving into, or Venus moving into Pisces. Saturday, I'm just checking my dates here. So yeah, Saturday is Valentine's Day. So, lots of love obviously coming up this week. So, whatever situation you're dealing with, It's about coming from your heart and also bringing love into it, bringing understanding into it. There's an opportunity this week, though, that's opening up, though, for our personal healing, and to open through the healing and integration, we can find more happiness. The energy is gaining momentum. Definitely feeling that as we move into eclipse season. Definitely aligned with Aries, moving into, or Saturn moving into Aries, and then we have the big February 20th conjunction, and then the fourth chakra. Look at that, heart chakra. So we have a lot around the heart space this week, and things are gaining momentum. This is about clearing any blockages as well when it comes to relationships. And the key thing here is, though, like, to clear blockages in your heart space, or you can kind of mirror it to your relationships, you have to do things differently. You have to make different choices. You have to stand up for yourself. You have to be your true self. You have to speak your truth and ask for what you need. But also, it's about self-love. So you can't really love yourself if you don't really know who you are. If you can't really see what your values are, who am I, what are my needs? And that's where the self-love comes in to make decisions. So if you're in a situation, a relationship, that's not loving to you, that's not respectful, that's not giving you or in alignment with who you really are, you can feel it in your intuition, you can feel it in your soul. That's where we need to start making, good decisions for ourselves to walk away from things, to have confidence and courage. And that energy was coming out this week. It's also a good week to let things go for good. So that can range from finally cutting like a relationship that's back and forth all the time that you can't seem to let go of. This can also be like quitting smoking is a good week. So anything around that. All right, let's go. Ooh, yes, I just look at that. Talking about ending something for good, and the Ten of Swords comes out. But then you have the Magician and the Three of Cups. So there's power in something ending here. What feels like something that maybe, even looking at the external world, like learning things that are like something we feel like, how can we get over this? How can we overcome this? It's making us more powerful because, again, this had to come up. We had to end something. We have to make sure something ends. That's not in the alignment with us as individuals or us as a collective. But I love the Magician coming up after that, though. This is just proving to you have the power to stand up to this, to overcome this, and to now, I think you're also learning more about yourself. You're learning about your courage. You're learning that you have all the tools, whether it's your voice, your truth, your emotions, your passions, your intentions, to shift and to kind of move forward in a new way that's going to create something a lot better. And I see this Three of Cups as almost like a celebration. It's like on the other side, you're going to be able to celebrate this. But I also feel this is also new connections coming in, opportunities to connect with people, to socialize, and to come together in unification with, like, you're able to come together with the same cause, with the same values, with the same ideas, which I like this energy. King of Wands, there's more courage and power right there. Five of Pentacles. And the Page of Wands. So we have the King and Page of Wands here. I just feel like we're getting inspired. There's a lot of energy that it's inspiring us. We're getting new ideas that are popping up. And these ideas are going to be things that we're going to take action on and create from to grow our lives and grow ourselves here. And it's going to produce some great harvest for us moving forward, especially after this Five of Pentacles in the heart of the reading. I feel like this is tied to the fourth chakra here, the heart chakra. This is like really heavy feelings and energy here. This can refer to physical, like hardships, financial hardships, health issues that you've been kind of dealing with. But I feel like we're shifting out of this energy in the Ten of Swords. And look at all this powerful energy, though, intertwined and coming out of this. And this King of Wands is looking kind of backwards to the past, and kind of, he's able to look back now and learn things from it and have some new perspective of what went wrong, what happened, where did we go wrong, and now how can I use this opportunity right now to gain power with, not power over. And that's the shift that's happening right now. This whole dense energy and these karmic energies of people having power over, using this distortion of power. And people have, the only reason people take this whole concept of power and distort it and then try to take other people's power, or to be higher above and have more power than others, is out of a complete and utter like delusion of what the truth is. Because if once we awaken, we realize how much power we have just within us to just be. We all are powerful. And the more power we actually illuminate when we learn that, when we give others more power, and when we uplift others, and when we help others to see their power, and when we share, and when we help, others awaken to the light, that's where we gain the most power. But we're also instilling power within the whole reality and collective. So there's a lot here about retrospect, like looking retrospectively, and then also then looking now in the current now moment and seeing the opportunities, even though a lot of density is coming up. And we're having new ideas about how we can come together as a collective or in relationships and shift and change things. And it's, I'm hearing also like there's more power, right? There's more power with larger groups come together. Power to the people here. The World. The Knight of Wands. Look at this. This is the complete growth cycle from the Page to the Knight to the King. And then the Six of Wands. So I love this. We're overcoming a lot of, I'm just feeling like we're overcoming a lot of immaturity. And that goes back to the whole, distortion with this whole power thing. But this too is people who are very selfish, who are narcissistic and takers. Like, I just feel like we've had a lot of people take from us, and that could mirror into your life individually, or just thinking from, again, a collective, the governments, powerful people that have been taking and feeling like that they are owed that for some reason. But we are overcoming this, and we're going to come out of this battle a lot stronger. We're going to come out of this battle also with new perspective, with new ideas. We're going to come together and build something new from the ground up, because we're going to have to, because something's really dead, done, and over with. And it's the old ways. Same with the World. Endings and new beginnings here. So we're coming full closure here. There's a full closure here coming together. Let's see, what's a clarifier for the Ten of Swords? Ten of Cups. So we have to end the old to then rebuild the Ten of Cups here. So this had to end for you to have this, for all of us too, as a collective. And seeing things in a new way. This is shifting. This is enlightenment, the Hanged Man. So we're in a period now where a lot of people are becoming enlightened to the truth, enlightened, and gaining a new perspective. Some of us didn't want to see the truth. We didn't want to see things in a certain way, or we perceived things very distortedly, but that's shifting. What's the Five of Pentacles about? King of Cups. This has really done a number on our emotional body. So whatever we've been experiencing in our physical world, it's all a kind of a mirror of what's going on internally, emotionally. And you could also kind of say that in a bigger sense to the collective. What we're experiencing is an exact mirror of what's going on inside each and every one of us, all kind of together. What's the Knight of Wands? King of Pentacles. So we have 3 kings coming out. I'm also picking up on a too much dominance of the divine masculine energy, like a distortion of the masculine. There's a lot of masculine energy here, but there's not a lot of feminine. So we need to, the only way we can shift what's happening and end the old is to kind of, we need the masculine, but we also need the feminine. And this is, to me, too much of the patriarchy or the masculine dominating. So we need to shift and bring in more feminine energy to balance out this here. But this is also people who are showing up from the outside. So this is like the image, but behind the scenes, these people are not, they are not real kings. They are truly knights, trying to appear as if they are smart and they're have all the things going on. They have everything together, and that, you know, this can even be people that, you know, people look up to. But in reality, behind closed doors, they're actually just the knight. And they're doing things that aren't on the up and up. They're, there's a lot of just really impulsive actions and energy behind the scenes here. Let's see. And just one for the Three of Cups and the Knight of Wands. Seven of Swords and the Empress. Yeah, we're seeing things again. We're seeing things new, right? So it's like the Page. We're gonna have to like move forward in a new way, and it's like we'll have to learn new ways of doing things, because again, this is the distortion of the feminine. Here, Seven of Swords with the Empress, a distortion of the feminine. A betrayal of the feminine. But that's what's been happening. So when we look at it from a higher perspective, it has been betraying the feminine, distorting the feminine to keep the feminine energy down. And that's where we're shifting. So we have all the kings, but the Empress is the highest octave of feminine energy. So from a masculine perspective, it's the Emperor. But the Empress is going to be higher than a king. So we need to bring in the Empress energy to help balance this out. And then the Ten of Pentacles. So this is actually bringing it into the physical. And kind of redefining, again, the collective structure of relationships, of family dynamics, strengthening this, bringing the soul tribe together to help build these new connections, these new types of community, right? And celebrating this and coming together. This is something's happening that's going to really bring us as humans, as humanity together in a whole new way. And this is the Star. So this is healing. This is healing the distortion. So this is a pretty high level reading here of what's happening. Wow. Big stuff. Love it. So this is really that Aries energy coming, or that, sorry, Saturn moving into Aries here. But yeah, we're going to see this play out. And what's really happening right now is the rebalancing of the divine feminine and divine masculine into healthy versions, to their true form again. It's like the divine masculine coming back to itself, and then the feminine also coming back to itself and healing this. And we're healing this divide between us. And we're coming together back into the whole, the whole yin yang thing. It's about this unification of us coming together in a healthy new way. But we have to heal and end anything that's been, causing these distortions and these betrayals and all this kind of dense energy. All right, guys, thanks for joining in as usual. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know what you're doing in the comments, but I will see you in the next reading.